In our state, over the last 2 years, over 500,000 new registrants registered as independents. They're the fastest growing group in our state. And so for Democrats, you can't just go campaign to Democrats. You have to campaign to Republicans and you have to campaign to independents.
That was Democratic Arizona State Representative Kyrsten Sinema, September 7th, 2009. Now, here's Democratic Arizona State Senator Kyrsten Sinema, July 2nd, 2011.
For years, Arizona has been an independent, feisty state.
Now, here's Kyrsten Sinema again, October 15th, 2018. Democratic member of the U.S. Congress, Kyrsten Sinema.
I often do vote against my own party, and that's something I think Arizonans depend on and are proud of. They want an independent voice in the United States Congress.
Okay, one more. June 22nd, 2022. Kyrsten Sinema, United States Senator.
I promised Arizonans that I would be an independent leader for our state and that I would ignore the chaos of Washington and instead just focus on getting things done. It won't surprise anyone who might be listening today when I tell you that Washington hasn't always liked my approach.
All this talk over the years from Senator Sinema about being independent. It probably won't surprise anyone who's been watching her on C-SPAN that she just left the Democratic Party to become an independent.
Registering as an independent and showing up to work with the title of independent is a reflection of who I've always been. And it's a reflection of who Arizona is.
Yes, her defection made lots of news, but wasn't entirely surprising. And Kyrsten Sinema wasn't the first senator to change parties while in office. According to the Senate historian, since 1890 and before Sinema in December 2022, 21 senators changed parties during their Senate service. In this episode of C-SPAN's The Weekly, we remember 6 of those 21 senators, the 6 most recent, the ones who defected on C-SPAN. First, 3 fun facts about Kyrsten Sinema becoming an independent, 3 days after Democrats secured a 51-49 Senate majority. 1. Of the 6 most recent Senate independents, Senator Sinema is only the second from a state not in New England. 2. The Senate now has 3 independents serving at the same time, the most ever. And 3. Senator Sinema is the first independent or third-party senator who is a woman. So she's already made history. But for practical purposes in Senate operations, time will tell how significant her becoming an independent is. Here's a defector we knew immediately would result in a monumental change: Jim Jeffords. May 24, 2001 was a political earthquake. Vermont Senator Jeffords upset the balance of power in the Senate by switching from Republican to independent. He said he would caucus with the Democrats. The Senate had been evenly divided. Senator Jeffords' defection gave the Democrats a slim majority. Senator Jeffords made his announcement during a news conference in Burlington. He was interrupted by cheering supporters.
In order to best represent my state of Vermont, my own conscience and principles I have stood for my whole life, I will leave the Republican Party and become an independent. Control of the Senate. Sorry for that. Control of the Senate will be changed by my decision.
He was right. Power flipped. Jim Jeffords remained in the Senate until 2007, when he was replaced by another Vermont independent, Bernie Sanders. Senator Jeffords' defection was the most dramatic and consequential in the C-SPAN era. But let's hear from the others, too. Starting in 1994, the day after Republicans gained control of Congress, Alabama Senator Richard Shelby left the Democratic Party to become a Republican. Here's Senator Shelby's November 9, 1994 announcement.
For 16 years, 8 years in the House and 8 years in the Senate, I've tried hard to work within the Democratic Party, a party that I grew up with in the South. But I can tell you it has been frustrating because I thought there was room in the Democratic Party for a conservative Southern Democrat such as myself representing my people from Alabama and other areas of the South. But I can tell you there's not. There's not room. So officially right now, I am changing parties to a party of hope for America, not a party of dependency, to the Republican Party, effective immediately.
Republicans won the majority in both chambers in the 1994 election. So while Senator Shelby's flip didn't change the balance of power, it did mean he was still in the majority when Congress began a new session that following January. A few months later, still in the aftermath of the Republicans' romp in 1994, Colorado Senator Ben Nighthorse Campbell followed Shelby's lead. On March 3, 1995, Senator Campbell left the Democratic Party and joined the majority Republican Party. His seniority was maintained.
As you know, this morning I am announcing my change of affiliation to the Republican Party. After all the leaks around this place, that shouldn't have come as a big surprise. I saw it on news this morning before I even made my morning cup of coffee.
Senator Campbell mentioned watching TV. The next senator who flipped also referred to his television watching. On July 13, 1999, New Hampshire Senator Bob Smith left the Republican Party. He became an independent. And, get this, he left the Republican Party while he was a presidential candidate. He made his announcement on the Senate floor and mentioned a TV show and the TV show's co-host.
The chairman of the New Hampshire Republican Party, where for 15 years I've been a member, went on Crossfire the other night to debate Bob Smith, but Bob Smith wasn't there to answer for himself. He took the anti-Bob position. He attacked me viciously, saying it was a selfish move and that it meant the end of my political career. Something a little strange in that. If it's selfish, then how can and I'm throwing away my political career, maybe somebody could explain what he means. Not a mention of 15 years of service to the state and to the party. Even Bill Press said, can't you find something nice to say about Bob?
What about Bob? Well, there's a part two to his story. Just a few months later, on November 1st, 1999, Senator Bob Smith announced his return to the Republican Party. He noted that, since his hometown of New Hampshire had not yet changed his voter registration, he had technically never left the Republican Party. Oh, by the way, it just so happened that Senator Smith's return to the Republican Party coincided with the death of Rhode Island Republican Senator John Chafee. His chairmanship of the Environment Committee was then given to Bob Smith. Holy coincidence! Next, from the nearby New England state of Connecticut, Senator Joe Lieberman. Joe Lieberman was elected as a Democrat to the U.S. Senate in 1988 and re-elected in 1994 and 2000. In 2006, though, Senator Lieberman lost the Connecticut Democratic primary. When the results came in on August 8, 2006, Senator Lieberman announced he would run in the general election as an independent.
Tomorrow morning, our campaign will file the necessary petitions with the Connecticut Secretary of State's office so that we can continue this campaign for a new politics of unity and purpose.
Senator Lieberman won and served as an independent Democrat from 2007 to 2013. Finally, Arlen Specter. Pennsylvania Senator Arlen Specter was elected as a Republican to the U.S. Senate in 1980 and re-elected in 1986, 1992, 1998, and 2004. But on April 28, 2009, facing a tough primary, Senator Specter announced he was becoming a Democrat.
I am not prepared to have my 29-year record in the United States Senate decided by the Pennsylvania Republican primary electorate. Not prepared to have that record decided by that jury, the Pennsylvania Republican primary electorate. But I'm prepared to take on all comers in a general election. And therefore, I've decided to be a candidate for re-election in 2010 in the Democratic primary.
Senator Specter's flip gave Senate Democrats 59 votes, one short of the 60 needed to avoid Republican filibusters. But Senator Specter's effort to boost his re-election bid did not work. He lost the 2010 Democratic primary in Pennsylvania. Which brings us back to Senator Kyrsten Sinema. She was facing a tough 2024 Democratic primary in Arizona when she became an independent. And now our bonus clip. So much modern political history is connected to Joe Biden. Why should Senator Arlen Specter's party switch be any different? From April 29, 2009, at the White House with President Barack Obama and newly minted Democratic Senator Arlen Specter, here's Vice President Joe Biden.
And the people of Pennsylvania are going to continue to benefit from his fierce, and I emphasize, and I need not tell you, Mr. President, his fierce commitment to the people of Pennsylvania and to this country. So, Mr. President, I am pleased to introduce a man of immense personal courage and unmatched integrity, my friend Arlen Specter. Thank you.
That's it for this episode of C-SPAN's The Weekly. Time for you to do your own searching in the C-SPAN video library. You've heard us talk about senators who changed parties. Here's your assignment. Look up representatives who changed parties. Just go to cspan.org and use the search bar on top, all for free. Thanks for listening, and happy searching.